Welcome back, Keepers of the Flame. Okay, so I'm going to pick up on the esoteric astrology. I'll give you a little bit of a lowdown on it. So, the rising sign that you have holds the clue to the soul's journey or the intention of your purpose of your life, I should say. So, in esoteric astrology, it's the purpose of the soul transformation. In the personal astrology, it's more of the personality transformation. So when we're talking about your rising sign, the personal astrology is going to be more geared towards revealing the nature of the persona and its expression, your soul's expression, rather than the transformation. Your moon sign is in esoteric astrology. Moon is going to be the major liability of the person's chart, particularly after age 35. And then in personal astrology, moon is a symbol of the internal and emotional tendencies and instinctual patterns. So just to kind of give you a wherewithal that I don't think I've gotten through this, and I never say this at the beginning of the video. If the reading doesn't resonate with your sun sign, always go watch your rising or your moon. And if those don't resonate, go watch your Venus. Because oftentimes there's different planetary movements going through your chart. So there's going to be different spaces of time, that makes any freaking sense, that you're going to be going through transformations in different areas of your life, and that's going to be the focal point. That's going to be on the front burner, so to speak. That's going to be on the forefront, and it's not always to do with your sun sign or your rising sign or even your moon sign. So understanding that this is a whole vast ecosystem of fractals working at the same time. So and again, this is just to assist with evolution. This is the only, for me personally, this is the only therapy I have found that is effective and functions on a real life level. That's going to trigger a lot of white coats. I'm not poo-pooing therapy. I'm not doing it. It works for some people. I can totally understand that. For me, it did not have even close to the impact that getting into astrology, getting into tarot, understanding the inner workings of life of itself, because I couldn't find anything that the therapist would give me that would relate to my life. I could do a few things here and there, but there was nothing of real solid ground and meaning for me. So this is why, and I think I'm saying this to Gem because the Gems get labeled as the bipolars of the zodiac, and that has a really negative connotation around it. And so it's difficult to even admit to yourself, hey, I might need to go get some therapy here because I am not doing so hot. And we have just completely, it's like we erased the entire palette of being human, went back to a rotting drawing board and said, this is how we're going to function. This is the foundation. And it's falling out from underneath our feet. And I'm like, okay, we're just going to ignore that. Okay. So when we're working with these esoteric, inward, the mechanics of the internal world, it's not fine-tuned print. Not even even if you go to a reader or an astrologer or a psychoanalyst, are they going to be able to tell you exactly what's on the inside of yourself? That's for you to get to know. That's why know thyself is so important. Is because even though you might have a a person who's adversed in psychology, psychodynamics, who knows your lingo, understands the mechanisms going on, even then they're still not going to be able to, and say they're psychic, or I don't like that word particularly, but they're highly observational and they're highly in tune with the nature of how things actually work and not how you're reading about it in a textbook. That's exoterics. So when we're dealing with the inner, it's just a like, hey, did you want to look at that? It's not, this is exactly what's going on. Hey, if this is happening for you or whatever it is, this is not a concrete mechanism at this point when I'm doing these particular reads. This is just, this is what I'm getting. This is not a, this is not a definite for sure thing. So these videos, I don't care if it resonates, if it doesn't resonate, I'm just doing it so you know that there is aspects to astrology that are not really talked about so much because they might be considered taboo. Because astrology is very mathematical. I mean, I've looked up how you have to calculate a chart. And personally, I was like, can I just have a brick wall? I like a brick wall. I'll beat my head against that. You do the math. So understanding that, like, moving forward in these particular reads, you don't have to like force yourself or mold yourself into it. You might be on a very, very different path based on what's happening in your life at this current moment, because this is inner world stuff. Okay, this isn't what's happening outside. This is inward. Okay, I love you, John. Let's get into your read. All right. So Gemini is ruled by Mercury in the personal astrology. Esoterically, the ruler is Venus. Okay. So you can see how Mercury and Venus are those polar opposites. One is completely in the head and one is completely in the heart. And that bridge needs to be gapped. And that does not happen naturally. You have to work towards that. That's why I might be slightly, on an unhealthy level, obsessed with the dark crystal. Maybe. Just a little. Just slightly. I keep bringing it up. I posted it for free. It's free on YouTube right now. Look it up. Go watch it. It's brilliant. It brings you to that grounding and understanding. So the saying for Gemini in the esoteric astrology is the relating of the pairs of opposites and the building of the antakarana. Now that's Sanskrit for the communication bridge between the soul and the personality. So this means that your personal astrology and your soul or your esoteric astrology need to bridge together. But that's also just, this is a really bad analogy because I don't really want to use it, but here we go. Astrologers, do not take offense. So when you're dealing with the personality chart of aspects of astrology, you're dealing with the more materialistic, sketchy version. It's the only thing I can come up with. I don't think it's bad. I don't understand. I don't see that as we have to learn how to live in the real world. It's keeping that aspect in balance with the mystic side of the soul, right? So that's what happens when they're extremely out of balance. So things are allowed to crumble and fall apart and not... It's just one giant freaking metaphor for like things need to be in balance. Things need to come together and understand that it's okay to be different, but you can be balanced. Just like that couple that's in the newer dark crystal where like it's just like, even though they're complete, wackadoodle nut jobs, you still would be like, yeah, I'd want to sit down and have some tea. It's just back and roll laughing. because they understand that, like, yeah, I'm a little kooked, but I'm bringing myself into balance as much as possible. They have that as a goal in mind. It's so freaking cute. And so that's kind of the Gemini mindset, I guess you could say, coming into that heart space. So the 3 pillars that you really need to focus on are heartfelt service to humanity, study the higher mind. So you're already naturally intuitive, highly intelligent, and you're geared toward that. But you want to study rather than take it to a place where things get dark. Yes, it's okay to explore the darkness, absolutely. I'm not telling you not to, Gem. I know. But I hear you. Yes, you need to explore the darkness, absolutely. Don't unpack your bags and stay for tea and crumpets and then vacation there permanently. Okay? So studying something is going to help you get out of that, like, stuck in anxiety and a toxic type of thing. And meditation, and I'm going to add breath work to that. That's the other part of meditation, is just focusing on your breathing. And because when you are too caught up in mind, you breathe shallow and you breathe really short. Okay? And that induces a panic attack. That is stress response mode. And so if you can remember to keep breathing deeply when you're feeling overwhelmed, that's going to bring that oxygen to your brain, and it's going to calm everything. The whole system's going to just calm right down. Okay, so meditation and breath work, super, super important. Cannot stress this enough. After I got into breath work, as many shifts as I had, that's the major cut in my life. That is the major severance of, like, before me and after me. That's the major severance for me. So breath work is super important paired with meditation to get your mind clean and clear so it can receive those messages, okay? Okay, quietly lower the self in order to hear the higher self. And that's what meditation is supposed to do. If it's not doing that, try a different type of meditation, okay? And your mantra is, I see other self. In the waning of that self, I grow and glow. I see my other self. And in the waning of that self, I grow and glow. Okay. That should be a little bit of a clue on when to do your spell work. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You know, if you're into that sort of thing. Okay, Gem. I don't know what that is, but we're getting it off your table. Come on. Okay. I was going to do music in the background, but there's birds chirping. Why would I do that? I did shuffle them and meditate with them. Here. Esoteric sign. Gem. What's up? Esoteric soul level for Gem. Let's see what's happening. Highest good of all. What does Gem need to know? A few more. Maybe. You good? You solid? We're always growing. It's Gem. Alright, that's the only thing coming out on top. 9 of Pentacles. Nice! Okay, so at the bottom, or in the roots of the read, I should say, the 5 of Cups, the High Priestess in reverse, and the 7 of Swords. Dang it. Kind of a monkey's butt nugget. Okay, so you got a little sprout here. Yeah, this has happened with the other 2 reads. They're just getting little sprouts on top. They're not like full flourished trees yet, and that's okay. Like in soul level, small level, you're just like, shh. So you're disheartened about some emotional investments that have spilled out. And you're keeping it secret. You're kind of, and that's the other thing too, is like, we can kind of, if we feel sovereign, we get in that comfy space where we're not using our intuition too much anymore. And look at this. This has got all those nice little crystals guarding it. So you're safe here. Your little green sprout is like being protected. But you might need to get into more of your intuitive notions, your intuitive powers. And then the Seven of Swords here in the upright. This is called the Amethyst Deceiver. So either amethyst, which you got up here too, is psychic ability. I know I said I don't like that word. But you got a plethora of it here. You got a lot of it. And with your High Priestess in the reverse, I'm getting you're lying to yourself about what kind of powers you're holding within you. I want to get on that. What are we? The humanity? Heartfelt service to humanity, Jem. I know, but I'm going to be criticized. We all have gifts that we're not allowed to bring to the table because the white coats are like, that doesn't make any sense. I can't measure that in a petri dish. It doesn't matter. Okay. So for the top of the tree, and the Son of Cups, the Hermit, well, that makes sense. And the Ace of Pentacles. Well, there's your Ten of Pentacles. You're looking for a way here to leave your legacy. Okay, so you are looking for heartfelt community service here. You're looking for it. This is the Knight of Cups. You're sending it out. And where am I going to best resonate here? Okay, but you're still keeping to yourself. It's like you're kind of like a little bit of an octopus. You're like, how does this feel over here? How does that feel over there? Okay, keep it rocking. That's totally fine. Bottom of the deck. You can get the Five of Cups clarified for esoteric gem. Oop, there's your Ten of Cups. Ten of Cups. And the Two of Pentacles. Okay, so yeah, exactly. You're going to have to... How do you do that? If you want to make an omelet, you got to crack a few eggs. That's what this means. Okay, you might have had to spill some emotional ties and let that vessel empty out in order to make room for the new. So oftentimes when we get into this mode, we do need to take inventory of what we're putting out that got us here. So when you get to this point, to the Ten of Cups, you start calculating exactly what you put on that wheel and why it's being fed back to you. And you keep doing that same thing. It doesn't always have to be in the same modality, but it has to be the same frequency, energy, vibration. It has to be that same life force coming out from inside of you. Heart Math Institute. Send the Nazi white coats there. Okay. The High Priestess in reverse. Please and thank you. Anything else? There it is. Ace of Swords. And the Mother of Swords in reverse. Okay. So something about that loss is really grinding your gears. But it's still working. That loss is still making room for this energy to come through here, but you're still up in your head about it. But this lovely little thing comes through here, reminding you, hey, remember that whole thing that you just put up, you stuck to your value structure here, your system, and even though it might have hurt to let go, it was very liberating at the same time and joyous. Okay, so remember get mentally clear about that, what you put out on the wheel that goes out into the universe and comes back to you. Okay? Seven of Swords for Gemini, please. Get clear about that. Ooh, novels. Now we're getting into the novels in the denial zone. Okay, the Seven of Cups. Or the Five of Cups, I'm sorry, in reverse. Okay, so you had to leave one out in the cold. Six of Cups in the upright. Nostalgia, reflecting, not a bad thing. Wheel of Fortune, you knew it was coming. Healing. Ace of Wands, turning down those opportunities that you desire. And, well, maybe you see that wanting to go back there because you are, a little bit of a volatile mode. You see that desire of wanting to go back there, and you're like, I can't. So you're celebrating this. It's almost like you Oh. So you understand that this is how growth really happens. You're coming to that understanding. Ooh, Gemini. That's major progress. You're coming to the knowing and the understanding that through these awful, painful experiences where we do have to spill 3 cups in order to get to the 10. Because that mathematically, it doesn't make any sense. Why would I want to spill 3 cups and only have 2 left? That's going to get me to my 10 of cups. Yeah. Because sometimes people, situations, whatever it might be for you, places, are not in your best interest. And you're just holding on to them out of habit or attachment or whatever it is. And it might not even be that they, it's a malevolent thing where they're just trying to leech off of you. It could just be that this is how it's always been. This is how we've always done it. This is blah, 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 blah. This is how society operates. This is how we have to do this. Those different things that you tell yourself over and over again about how you're supposed to live your life, when in actuality, it's not in alignment with who you are. So you already have this energy here. It's just in the reverse. You're going to put it like this. Okay? So you already instinctively have these intuitive knowing gifts and talents and attributes. You already have it. And you're denying it. But now you're discovering that whatever this is that you had to spill over here was on purpose. Leaving somebody else out in the cold was on purpose. It had to happen. And you are reflecting back as to how lovely it was and how they served you and whatever else. And you realize that they came into your life or were in your life from the get-go for good reason. They had a purpose to fulfill there, but obviously, and then, this had to happen in order for you to heal certain wounds that might have been from a previous life or from past experiences here in this particular lifetime, whatever it is for you. Okay, so you're turning down the 1 wand and celebrating. And maybe that wand in reverse is you wanting to repair this relationship, this situation, or go back home in some way, shape, or form in this nostalgia here. And you can't, so you turn it down. And then you're able to celebrate here. You're very protected, Gemini. Whatever this is, whatever is going on right now. I see all those crystals surrounding the... Okay, very protected. I feel like that's the majority of the people that are trying to get on that intuitive path in their life. They're just really protected here. Okay, and you're keeping your flame. You're keeping sovereign. You're keeping the real flame. All right. It's not a bad read, Jum Jum. It's just an emotional release. And so getting through that really difficult process and uprighting your Mother of Swords that you have rocking out here. Alright. For the highest good of all, it's not half the deck, Jum Jum. I can put one. Okay. Good, I can't pronounce that one. Alright, Jum Jum. If I have time, I'll do the bottom of the deck. Oof. Maybe not. Okay. If I have time. If I don't have time, then it wasn't supposed to. Okay. Okay. Meditaion is what I'm going to call it. Okay. Subconscious healing, synchronizing inner and outer worlds, shape-shifting, time travel, transcendence of illusion. Love you. Saturn and Neptune rule this planet. The indigenous people of Southeast Asia have valued the power of this rainforest tree for thousands of years and have used it as a poultice to treat wounds as well as treatment for a variety of symptoms, including stress, pain, fatigue, and fever. Like coaca leaves in the South American highlands, fresh leaves from the Meditaion tree are chewed for energy and stamina throughout the day. Meditaion was revered among monks in Asia as it assisted them during long periods of meditation by providing focused attention and positive energy. As early as the 19th century, kratom became well known as an opium substitute and quickly and became a curative treatment for withdrawal from opium addiction. It became more popularized in the West due to Meditaion's use in Thailand, Malaysia, and surrounding areas, helping those with morphine dependence. Meditaion embodies elements of both Saturn and Neptune, as it profoundly relieves and decompresses the musculoskeletal system, while granting a free and euphoric feeling to the body-mind. Used in the right amount, it can greatly assist those with an addiction. Neptune. The balanced side of Meditaion represents the ability to shapeshift and adapt across realities. Like the dragonfly, Meditaion grants us the power to break through the illusionary facade we often accept as reality, providing us the freedom from pain in order to break through limiting illusions. Dragonfly, like Meditaion, help us initiate subconscious healing from the trauma experienced from endless cycles of pain and suffering. Dragonfly medicine invites us to seek out the parts of our habits that have gone unchanged, unnoticed, and stagnant. Ask yourself, have I tended to the changes I've been wanting to make? Don't get lost in the labyrinths of self-doubt. Break free from the elusive belief systems that hold back your transformation. Love you, Jum Jum. Where are we at? Okay, I'll hurry. Domania, 11. That one was 34. Sorry if I didn't say that ahead of time. Okay. Domania. It is in the reverse. I'm sorry. I'll put it in the upright so you can look at it. Ready, set, grow. Upright is magnetism, attraction, kindred spirits, soulmates, relationships, intimacy, sacred play, finding the beloved within. Reversed is lust, lack of love, feeling unloved, separation, projecting, unavailability, uninterested, unsatisfied, and rigidity. The astrological rulers for this is Venus, which is your esoteric, and Pluto, need for transformation. Domania is native to Central and South America, and use dates back to the ancient Maya and Aztec. Traditionally, Domania is the rejuvenating plant said to restore sexual vitality and strengthen the reproductive system, as well as commonly used for depression and anxiety. In classic love potion found among the Maya and several indigenous peoples in Mexico, fresh juice is made from the leaves and the flowers of Domania and sweetened with sugar cane. Mayan ceremonial drinks used in religious rites often involve Domania and or coaco. The Maya also chewed on the leaves or used them as a poultice, and didn't we just talk about this? And even as a smoke for relaxation and lung cleansing. The word for Demania literally meant asthma broom. In folk medicine throughout the Americas, Demania has been identified as an aphrodisiac, antidepressant, tonic, diuretic, and cough suppressant. It was also used to treat menstrual irregularities and cramps, constipation, asthma, bronchitis, headaches, stomach aches, gastric ulcers, and performance anxiety, and more. Like Demania, Venus, the planet of beauty and art, is said to rule the metamorphosis of cells, their reproduction, enrichment, and transformation, as well as the preservation of the body, the reproductive system, and the harmony between all systems of the body. Guidance. Demania represents the universal principle of the beloved within relationships and within ourselves. The alchemy of polarity is what we're made of, and this integration of opposites is that which births the beloved. This card represents the journey of coming together, bridging, and reuniting with oneself, a lover, a friend, a family member, or any important person in your life. You are in an important period of making choices and establishing healthy boundaries, especially with those you'd like to deepen and expand, or those that you feel need to shed or distance yourself from. Demania reminds us the importance of shaking off rigidity that often depletes creative reserves and sacred play. If you feel unsatisfied and emotionally unavailable, even to those whom you love, take the time to be in solitude and nourish your creative centers. Often, separation becomes the basis to reunite once again in a higher frequency. True self-love is the key to lasting relationships with others, and most importantly, with yourself. I love you. And until next time, keep your esoteric flame.